Okay, so first things first, if you want to go straight to the tutorial and skip this intro, go to this time. Also, if you just want this button for free and you want to skip the tutorial, just follow a link in the description, you can download it. Hey everyone, so today I'm going to show you how to create this animated YouTube subscribe button overlay inside of Adobe After Effects. And the nice thing is that you'll be able to use it in any editing software you use because it has an alpha channel with transparency and you can just drag and drop it over top of your footage. So I wanted to create this project for a couple of reasons, mainly because I'm not a big fan of this direct call to action when YouTube creators are asking their viewers directly, hey, be sure to subscribe to my channel, be sure to like my video. I, as a creator, always kind of find that frustrating. I don't like to do it. If I do it, I save it for the end of my video. But when you look at your analytics, not a lot of people make it to the end of a video, at least for me. And I also really dislike it as a YouTube viewer when I go and I just want to find something quickly and answer to a question that I have quickly, and I have to sit through this long intro sequence, and then I have to listen to the creator say, subscribe to my channel if you like this, like that, and all these requests of me, which I just want to find some answers to something that I'm trying to figure out. That's why I wanted to create these overlays, because this is a kind of a more subtle alternative to try to get those subscriber conversions. With the overlays, I can get straight into my content and I can still have a call to action at the beginning. And it's really flexible because I can throw it in as much as I want. It's not too distracting for the viewer as long as I put it on the right portion of the screen. And hopefully that will still lead to some conversions. And at the end, I can still throw in that actual call to action at the end saying, like my video, subscribe to my channel, yada, yada, yada. Okay, and speaking of long, annoying intros, let's get to the tutorial. Alright, I'm inside of Adobe After Effects, and for step one, I want to prepare all of my assets for animation. I got to gather all these elements and or create the elements. So this is a simple animation. It consists of three elements. We have a text element, we have a rectangular background, and we have a cursor. So first thing I want to do is create a new composition, and I'm going to go ahead and create a 4K composition, and this will be nice because I can use it in 4K if I want. If not, I can simply drag this into a 1920 by 1080 sequence and scale it down and reposition it. So I'm going to name it YouTube subscribe button overlay. And 5 seconds is good. 5 seconds is good. I'm gonna click OK. Now we have our composition. I'm gonna grab the text tool and we'll create our text element. So I'm gonna click inside of here and just type in subscribe. Grab that. We wanna maybe take that up to 200. Okay, after a simple Google search, I found that the Trade Gothic font is what they use for the subscribe button. If it's not what they actually use, it closely resembles that font. And this particular font is not available by default in my application. So what I can do is I can go over to the Adobe Fonts website and I can find it here. And if you haven't been to this website, you need to check it out because it's very cool. So I'm going to go to Trade Gothic, hit enter, and all I need to do now here is I can see it's available. It says 26 fonts active, and all I need to do is click this active button. And what this will do is automatically make it available in all of my Creative Cloud applications. So if you have a Creative Cloud subscription, all of these fonts are recently available for free. So, and once again, they just revamped this website and made all these available for free. You need to check this website out. It's very cool. Okay, I'm going to go back to After Effects, and now I'm going to grab this text, and that Trade Gothic font is now available. Let's go to, we can go to bold here, and then all caps that. Now I'm going to align this. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can see what we got going on here. Now I can go to Window, grab the Align panel, and then align my text horizontally and vertically. And there we go. So the text is now ready. Now I'm going to grab my rectangular shape tool. I'm going to go to Rounded Rectangle. And I want to create this background. But before I do, I want to change the color of it. If you look up here, I have the fill and stroke colors. I want to turn the stroke off, and I just want to fill. And I actually took a screenshot of the YouTube logo here. And this is just as a reference. So let me zoom in here. This is just as a quick reference. So when I grab this, and actually, not grab that, I'm going to grab my shape tool, and then I'm going to click on the color here, and then you see there's a little eyedropper tool. I'm going to click on that, and now I can sample that YouTube color. Click OK. Now I can delete this little reference layer, and now my shape tool is ready. I'm going to simply click and drag this over here. And now we have our shape. I'm going to bring it below the subscribe text element and then call this background. Now with this in place, I'm actually align this. So now it's perfectly center. And now I can kind of fine tune these edges here. And maybe I want a little bit more of a round edge, so I can open up the rectangle shape and the path, and you're going to see roundness here. So if I want to bring this up just a little bit, whoa, that's way too high. I meant to do 25. Whatever look you want here. Okay, that's looking good. I'm going to close this. So now we have our background. So for the third element, I need my cursor. Now I could go ahead and create my cursor inside of Adobe After Effects with shape layers, but that might take a little bit of time. So let me show you another method. I can go over to this website called Icon Finder, and I can search cursor, and there's a bunch of different options here. And you can see there's some premium ones, you know, you can get whatever you want for $2, but there's also a free section here. So I can just go ahead and grab a quick cursor here for free. They have PNG, different formats. I'm gonna select the largest PNG that they have. Then I'm going to go ahead and rename that, and then I'll bring that into After Effects here and bring it into our sequence. Okay, so now the cursor is quite large and you can see it's just straight black. So if I want to change the color of it, I can grab a fill effect in the effects and presets panel here and just drag it on top of the cursor. So now I'll be able to turn this cursor into whatever color I want. So let's say we want it to be white. Select OK. And we don't want this to kind of blend in with any super bright background when we overlay this. So let's add a stroke. So I'm going to go to Layer and select Layer Styles, Stroke, and open this stroke up. And then actually that red is just fine. I'm going to make sure it's the same red. And then I'm going to pump this up to maybe a width of 10. That's looking good. And now we want to scale this down. So I'm going to press the S key and I'm going to bring it down to 50. And there we go. Now we have our cursor. It kind of pops out when you have it against any background, and then it blends in nicely when I drag it over top of my text background here. Okay, now let's animate. First I'm going to focus on the background rectangle. So let's open up these assets here, and I'm going to open up the actual contents of the rectangle, and we want to go to the transformation properties of the rectangle, not the transformation properties of the shape layer. We want to only animate this. So I'm going to animate this in via a horizontal scale. So I'm going to go over to scale. I'm going to turn off constrained proportions because we just want to have it animate on horizontally, and it's going to animate on over the course of 1 second. So I'm going to add a keyframe here. This is our end keyframe, and I'll go back to the beginning and I'm going to type in 0 for X. And now when I play this back, you can see there's our animation, but it's looking quite terrible. So let's grab our keyframes here, F9, and go to the graph editor and make that kind of zoom in a little bit. Okay, that's looking better. Okay, so now the reason I did it through this transform scale is because now even if I select, I go and grab that background and change the size, it's not going to affect the animation. It's still going to animate on from 0 to 100%, regardless of how large this particular shape is. So gotta make sure you animate the right properties. Okay, so this animation is good. Let's have it animate out as well. So I'm going to grab the layer, press the U key, copy these, go over a little bit, paste them, and then I'm going to right click and go to Keyframe Assistant, Time Reverse Keyframes, and now this animates out. And I can simply drag that to the end of our comp. So now it animates in and it animates out. But we want it to reveal the actual text as it animates. So how can we do that? Well, we just need to make a track matte. So I'm going to grab this background layer, hit Command D to duplicate, drag it above my text, and then I'm going to rename it matte. And then we can go over here and you see there's a track matte column. Now I can go to the text and I can tell it to have an alpha matte for this matte here, and now just like that, now we have a matte when it animates on and off. And I'm going to go ahead and parent both of these to this layer, so then anytime we want to move this text, the backgrounds will follow and the matte will follow. Okay, so now let's take care of that cursor. So for the cursor, it's going to be a simple position animation. We're going to have the cursor move over the button, hold for just a bit, and then move back off. So I'm going to go right about here. I'm going to hit the P key with the cursor selected to bring up the position attribute. I'm going to lock all these other layers to make sure we don't accidentally move something. And this is where we want, let's say we want it to be right about here. I'm going to click that stopwatch button. So that's kind of where it's going to land. And we want it to start animating on just before this animation ends. And we'll want it to start from down here. And we'll also want it to fade up. So I'm going to hold Shift, hit T, bring up opacity, and add a keyframe, move it out a little bit, and then change it to 0. And now it fades on. And we want to grab these position keyframes, F9 to easy ease those, go into the graph editor and make it come on a little bit fast and then slowly in there. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Okay, looking good. Now to animate out, I'll just grab all of them, copy, paste, bring it over here, right click and time reverse those keyframes, and now drag the opacity out. And there we go. Now these are animating out this way. And if I want to change kind of the movement of this position, I can go back into the graph editor and we can kind of reverse this here. Okay, there we go. Now let's take a look. Okay, some of this still needs timing. Like I want it to fade up a little bit slower, and I want the cursor to stay up just a little bit less. Okay, so now that's how I want it. I want this to come in a little bit after, click. Okay, so the cursor's animated. Now for the click, I basically want to just change the scale of this. So I'm going to unlock this text element, and I'm going to bring up the scale attribute. And for the click, I'm going to zoom. Let's just add one of these. I'm going to zoom in and go 1 or 2 frames, and let's say down to 90. And there's a problem. It's the anchor point is not in the center, so we're having an issue here. So I'm going to right click on the text element, go to transform, center anchor point and layer content. And now if we go down to 90, it's gonna respond correctly. And then we'll go back up to 100, and you see, because I have these parented, the background's coming along with it. So now I zoom out here. Okay. And that might be too much. I think we could change this to 95 maybe. It's a little too much of a... Okay, so now we have the cursor animated, we have the click going. The final touch is to basically add some sound effects. I want to keep this simple and just add a click sound effect when that clicks. That's the only thing I really want for this particular animation. So I can go to YouTube, and there's actually an audio library for free. They have free music, but they also have sound effects. So if I click on sound effects and I go over here to search sound effects, I can just type in computer, and then there's a click continuous. Let's have a listen. Okay, so I'm going to download that, and then I'll bring that in. And now I can just bring this in, and I can bring up my keyframes for the click, and then hit L twice to bring up the waveforms, and then we can just put that right over top. Now, Command-Shift-D to split that there, and Command-Shift-D to split that. Now let's have a listen. Let's see how this is loud enough. Now the last thing I want to do is, after we click the button here, I want the background to change color like the real YouTube button does. So if I go down here, I'm going to grab this background layer, I'm going to open it up, and open up the actual rectangle and go to fill. And if you look, here's the color, and it has a stopwatch icon here. So if we expand this and I go to my text, so let me open up the text layer, press the U key to bring up the click. We want to change color right when this clicks. So I'm going to add a keyframe here, so it's red here, and then once it gets clicked, well, it'll turn black. And you know what, we'll also change the opacity at the same time. So let's go from 100 opacity to let's go down to 50. And we can't see it right now because the background of our comp is black, but if I hit this transparency button, now we can see it beautifully. Okay, that's looking good. Now let's take a quick look. Now I want to export this, and if I was using Adobe Premiere Pro, I could, theoretically just go ahead and dynamically link this in my projects, but that's just kind of an extra step and it's a little more processor intensive. So I want to export this with an alpha channel as its own video clip. So to do that, I'm going to go to Composition, Add to Adobe Media Encoder Queue, and now I'm going to go over here to Format, and I'm going to select QuickTime, and under Preset I'm going to choose Apple ProRes, but I need to have the alpha. So if you look down here, you can see I can export the alpha as Apple ProRes 4444 with alpha. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, and now when I export it, all that transparency information is going to be saved. Okay, so now I have this graphic exported out, and if we take a look, here it is. We just have this against a transparent background here. Now all I need to do is bring this into Adobe Premiere Pro. I have my intro sequence ready here, and this is just the intro to the tutorial. Hey everyone, so today I'm going to show you how to create this animated YouTube subscribe button overlay inside of Adobe After Effects. Okay, now this is a 1920 by 1080 sequence, so I'm going to show you what happens when I bring this overlay and I drop it on top. Now we can see it, but it's quite large. So all I need to do now is right click and select scale to frame size, and that's going to bring it right to the size, because once again we created this as a 4K sequence. Now I can go to the effect controls and I could scale that down even further and reposition it. Let's say we want it in the lower third, so I could bring it right down here. And now let's have a look. Hey everyone, so today I'm going to show you how to create this animated YouTube subscribe button overlay inside of Adobe After Effects. Okay, so there you go. That's how you can create an animated YouTube subscribe button overlay inside of Adobe After Effects. If you want to download mine for free, the link is in the description. And I also have a premium version for sale. The link is in the description. That one has a few extra things like notification bells with circle burst and thumbs up buttons. Also, if you found this video on YouTube, be sure to check out my corresponding blog article that I wrote on this topic. It's over at wipster.io. So if you want to learn more about Wipster, you can follow the link in the description. And be sure to stay tuned to my channel, because the next few weeks I'm going to be posting a standalone video that's going to show you everything about Wipster, show you how cool it is. And if you work with clients or you do a lot of collaboration with other creators, you're going to absolutely love this tool. Oh yeah, and don't forget to, with my channel, you know what to do.